Why is this a rule for a pulpit that you don't own?
That day, the Lord showed me a sign.
Lee embodied disruption that is prophetic.
She's a proto-womanist. She is doing things her own way, regardless of what people are saying.
This woman is moving across the country on her own during the time of chattel slavery.
I'm always fascinated by what it might have been like to be sleeping in a barn because God said, you have to go say this word.
Her story is important not just to clergy women, but to clergy and to laity as well.
Jarena Lee's struggle with the call, and yet a holy boldness that just persisted and allowed her to do what it was that she knew that God called her to do. She was a woman who was deeply committed to prayer.
Her story is fundamental to the founding of the AME Church, and to see Richard Allen shifting his stance.
There are real consequences and costs that Jarena Lee paid at the point of death.
This preacher who has come in as a guest, he gets up and he stammers and he stops. She steps up and begins to preach with power, and no one can deny it.
Look forward, look to the Lord.
Jarena Lee established for us that you can be what God says you can be, even in an institution at that time that says you couldn't.
Now posthumously to confer the order of itinerant elder on Jarena Lee on behalf of the African Methodist Episcopal Church.
We must reduce our own privilege, our own patriarchy, and to encourage and to uplift our dear sisters and siblings in ministry.
Jarena Lee's legacy is one of a woman of courage who knew who she was and what she was to do.
Jarena Lee stood tall in ministry as a woman. She wasn't trying to fit in with the fellows.
I think we can see Jarena Lee as a model for the 20th century Black woman who says, I am as bold and as brave as I need to be.
Is not Christ the whole Savior and not a half one? If Christ is whole, that means that we must also seek to be whole.